I, 30M, have been married to my wife Sam, 28F, for 3 years. About a year ago, we moved to a new city because I was offered a promotion. Sam was hesitant at first but soon came around to the idea. Since arriving in the city we have both been busy with work and have struggled to make new friends. Around 4 months in, Sam told me she had met a new friend, Jane, 29F, and they had a lot in common. I was happy for her and we planned a double date with Jane and her husband a few weeks later. At the first dinner, we started to make the usual small talk, but when I tried to engage with Jane, she seemed cold and dismissive. For the rest of the night, I was left to speak to the husband while my wife and Jane were deep in conversation. Every time I tried to join their chat, Jane started talking to my wife again. The husband never tried to get involved. I brushed this off as Jane maybe being a bit shy around new people and forgot about it. Over the next month, Sam and Jane would text constantly, have long phone calls at night and meet up a couple of times a week for coffee/lunch. This didn't bother me and I just thought that they were forming a close friendship. We then went out again for dinner and the same thing happened, although Jane spoke to the whole group more this time, but she made a number of comments alluding to her being bisexual and her and husband being in some sort of open relationship. When we moved on to a bar, Jane sat across from my wife and started openly flirting with her. She would make suggestive comments, compliment her and use any excuse to make physical contact with her, touching her hands, shoulders, etc. When we got home I made a joke asking Sam if she enjoyed her date with Jane. She looked confused and asked what I meant. I said that Jane had made me a bit uncomfortable with her flirting, but she said that's just how she is. I told her that I wasn't sure Jane just wanted to be friends and asked her to be careful. For reference, Sam has never shown any real interest in women and as far as I know she is straight. She is also endearingly naive and will always see the best in people. The texting and calls continued and Sam started going over to Jane's apartment at least once a week and wouldn't come home until quite late. I was wary, but she would always tell me what they had done/watched etc. after one of these visits. I asked what Jane's husband was up to and was slightly shocked to hear that he was away on a business trip. Apparently he traveled a lot and Jane didn't like being home alone. This came to a boiling point a few weeks ago when I took Jane's husband to play golf. We were supposed to go out for drinks/dinner after with the other two guys, but they both had to cancel last minute. On the 10-minute drive back to my house, I could see Jane's husband texting Jane. Jane and Sam were supposed to be going out for shopping and lunch, but when we arrived at my place they both looked flustered, sitting at opposite ends of the couch. We made awkward small talk for a while, but I went into the bedroom. I noticed Jane's smartwatch sitting by the bed. They left quickly and I decided it was time to talk to Sam. I casually asked her what she bought at the mall and where they went for lunch. She said they decided to stay home instead because Jane had a headache. I asked her to be honest about what they had done and she swore that they had just chatted all afternoon and they were just friends. I told her I was uncomfortable with a lot of things that have happened, but she tried to reassure me. I noticed later that the smartwatch was gone, but I didn't bring this up to Sam. Since then there have been no phone calls or messages while I was around and Sam seemed extra loving and attentive. She rarely brought up Jane, but last night she mentioned that she was going to a concert with Jane on Saturday, then would crash at our place. I said I wasn't comfortable with this and offered to pick her up instead. She got angry and said that I was acting controlling and crazy, then went to bed. We haven't spoken since, but am I overreacting here? Should I try to stop her from staying over on Saturday? I think I trust Sam, but something is telling me that her relationship with Jane is not just as friends. Should I snoop? TLDR, wife made a new friend and I am concerned about their close relationship. Update 1. I decided I needed some firm proof that Sam was cheating before I confronted her. When I got home from work, Sam had made dinner as normal and sat with me while I ate. I acted normally with her and she caught me off guard by apologizing for her behavior the night before. She asked if I was still willing to pick her up or she would even try to find someone selling a ticket if I wanted to come along. I asked her to try to find a ticket and she seemed happy. The rest of the night was normal and after we went to bed, I couldn't sleep. Around 1 a.m., Sam was sound asleep, so I grabbed her phone and went to the bathroom. I unlocked it, we know each other's passcodes, and braced myself. I knew they texted each other on WhatsApp, so I started by trying to find any other messaging apps. I checked everywhere and used the trick someone recommended of looking at the battery usage to see the most used apps. I didn't find anything. Sam is not into social media and doesn't use Instagram, Snapchat etc. I also checked her browser history, emails, photos, call logs, deleted items etc. and couldn't find anything out of the ordinary. I decided to check WhatsApp next and open the chat with Jane. I found hundreds of messages, sometimes up to 50 per day between them. Around 99% of them were completely normal, talking about TV shows, books, music, recipes, family, day-to-day life etc. The other 1% that might be a bit suspect included, there were no nudes or anything pointing towards them having had sex. Nothing had been deleted. I checked some of the chats with her other friends and they were very similar. What was most concerning was the way which Jane texted Sam. She would always initiate the conversation and follow up 3 to 4 times until Sam responded. She would then start calling if she didn't respond. There were also a few messages where Jane's tone changed when Sam wouldn't reply. She would become less friendly and cold. Also, when Jane asked Sam to do something together, there was always a subtle guilt trip added, like she didn't want to go alone because of social anxiety. She was scared being home by herself, etc. The messages/calls slowed down in the last few weeks because they were both complaining about being busy and Jane had been out of town. Even though I didn't find the smoking gun I was looking for, it's clear that Jane and her weird husband are bad news for our marriage. We will be having a come to Jesus conversation tonight where I will get the truth because Sam is a terrible liar. If nothing more has happened, I will make it clear that divorce is still on the table if these creeps are not permanently and immediately removed from our lives. TLDR, decided to snoop on my wife's phone. Didn't find the smoking gun, but something is clearly not right. Update 2. First of all, my original post was not intended to cover all of the things that led to me being suspicious of Sam's relationship with Jane. There were a number of other factors, for example Sam prioritizing communicating and spending time with Jane over me, Sam not talking about Jane like she did with her other friends, etc. We did talk about most of this at the time because, believe it or not, we do have good and regular communication. Now on to the update. Sam came home on Friday and we sat down to talk after dinner. This was not a big showdown but just a normal conversation that lasted many hours. Here is a summary. 1. Sam originally loved spending time with Jane, but it became too intense and weird for her a few months ago. She feels Jane is too needy and controlling but didn't want to lose her only close friend in this city. 2. Sam knows that Jane has a crush on her but made it clear that she was happily married and straight. She should have told me about this but knew that I wouldn't be okay with it. 3. Nothing physical happened between them. Jane tried to initiate physical contact in a playful way and made suggestive comments about Sam, her body, etc. Sam shut this down. 4. Sam told me that she wanted to cut down contact with Jane and focus more on our relationship and spending time with a new friend she has made. As for my concerns, here is Sam's explanation. Jane's attitude towards me. Apparently she doesn't like most men and treats her husband terribly. The flustered/awkward situation when I came home from golf. Jane was showing Sam some spicy scenes from a new TV show. They didn't realize we were coming back early and switched the TV off as we came through the door. The watch. Jane was going to borrow a dress for a wedding and went into our bedroom to try some on. Sam assumed she took it off, and when she saw it, she put it in her bag to give it back to her later. Sam's reaction when I asked her not to crash at Jane's apartment. Apparently Jane had planned a girls' night after and Sam thought she would get angry if she canceled. I also told Sam that I snooped on her phone. She was initially angry but understood why I did it and forgave me. We both apologized to each other and went to bed. I managed to get a ticket for the concert and went with Sam and Jane last night. Jane made some thinly veiled comments/jokes about me being their chaperone, etc., but I laughed it off. We met another couple there and I ended up hanging out with the other husband while the ladies danced, etc. Story 2. Friend intentionally spiked my drink at her bachelorette party, revealing her true feelings about my sobriety, and now she's mad that I left. I have been sober for 1 year, after abusing drugs and alcohol for 6 years. Getting sober has truly changed my life. I rarely talk about my sobriety to others since I don't want to be annoying and because it is no one's business. The only time I talk about it is when it is relevant. My friend is getting married in September, and I'm a bridesmaid. This weekend she had her bachelorette party. It was a bachelorette party weekend. She had gotten an Airbnb for us. I was also the only one with a driver's license and car, relevant. She knew me while I was a drunk. She saw me recover and has, or I thought, never judged me, only supported me. I don't mind if people around me drink or do drugs. It is their life, their choice. I didn't know anyone at her party, but I still had fun on the first day. While everyone was getting drunk on Friday, I was just drinking my Coca-Cola. We were dancing, listening to music and playing a drinking game. It was while we were playing the game that people tried to give me shots and asking why I wasn't drinking. I just told them that I didn't feel like drinking tonight, and blamed it on that I had a long traveling day. The next day, during brunch, people were drinking mimosas. I was just drinking orange juice, and again I was asked why I am not drinking. I knew I would get asked this, and I had talked to my friend before this weekend. I decided this would be the perfect time to mention that I am sober and I don't drink. Some people asked me why. I didn't want to go into the details of it, since I didn't want to ruin the mood, so I said it is because of health reasons. Later that evening, I was drinking some soda and went to go to the bathroom. When I came back, I took a sip of my drink and they had put vodka in my soda. I spit it back out, and asked who put vodka in my drink. I was upset about this, but I wasn't crying or causing a scene. I just thought maybe someone didn't know that this was my drink. One of my friend's friends said that she did and it was an accident. I didn't get mad, because accidents happen. However, there was a little voice in my head telling me it was intentional. I shortly went outside to smoke a cigarette and to call my BF. I had walked behind the house, and my friend and 2 others came outside to also smoke. I guess they didn't see me, since they talked about what had happened. My friend said she thought it was lame that I came, and that she misses the old drunk me. That she hoped this spike would make me relapse. I was listening in shock. I thought I knew this girl. For fuck's sake, I am one of her bridesmaids. I have known her for 8 years. I walked to the front of the house, looked at them and went inside. They all looked shocked since they didn't know I was listening. I packed my things and drove off. I didn't say a single thing to them before I left, but they saw me leave. I decided not to block her on social media so that she can have a chance to explain herself and say sorry. Instead, I got a long message saying how selfish I was, making the whole weekend about me, and that I am an asshole for abandoning them, since I was the one that drove everyone there. So am I the asshole for leaving my friend's bachelorette party? Edit. Thank you all for the responses. I am obviously not going to be friends with someone like her or participate in her wedding. She has been talking shit about me to our friends, and I have been receiving a lot of shitty messages from them. She told people that I didn't like them drinking and was trying to ruin the night and that I just abandoned them. Keep in mind, they could very easily get from that place with public transport or taxi. Me driving them was me being nice to them. I have debated about messaging her fiancé and tell him some stuff about her. He is also sober himself, not due to substance abuse but due to health. I don't think he would like what she did to me. Also, they had agreed on not having any strippers, which she did have. And when we were out, she was flirting with other people. Hink, that is one of the reasons why I think she did it, since I said something about it. Maybe I shouldn't have interfered, but in my eyes she seemed drunk, and I didn't want her to do something that she would regret. Still wondering why she misses the old drunk me? I was a shit person when I was drunk. Also, the only reason why I told people I don't drink was because people typically don't accept it when you say that you don't like alcohol, etc. The reason why I haven't blocked her yet is because in my experience, it gets under people's skin more to not be blocked. She has messaged me more since I left, but I can't be asked to read her bullshit. Also, I will be making a post on my social media if she doesn't stop spreading lies about me. Getting sober saved my life. I am forever grateful and happy that I chose sobriety. I have also upped my therapy sessions just in case this makes me spiral. Oop, OFC, she is down a bridesmaid but maybe also a fiancé if I decide on messaging him. I'd gif, that is too mean. Update 1. I needed to take a few more days to digest and reflect on everything that happened. I also wanted to talk to my therapist first to see what she thought I should do. We decided on that I should message the fiancé, since if I was him I would want to know, same as I would either way have told him about the cheating. I do not condone cheating, and turns out it wasn't the first time she did that. Here is what I wrote. Hi Paul, fake name, I know this might be weird since I'm sure by now you know that I left last weekend, but I wanted to talk to you about it. As you know, I have been sober for over 1 year now, and while we were at the bachelorette party, Olga, fake name, put vodka in my drink. I didn't realize it until I took a sip of it. I had asked them who did it, and Fiona, fake name, said she did it on accident. However, when I went outside to smoke, I overheard them saying it wasn't an accident and that they did it on purpose. My boyfriend heard the whole thing. You can ask him if you don't believe me. I also wanted to let you know that there they did get strippers, and I attached photos of it, and that she was very friendly to some men we met at the club, again attaching photos of her touching the arm of a man at the club. I wanted you to know because I don't find behavior like that okay and I do not support it. I also wanted you to know that I will not be attending your wedding. I wish you the best. He saw the message and blocked me a few hours later. I also decided on confronting her. I am the kind of person who prefers to do things face to face. Me messaging her ex was something I did because I felt like it would be weird if I showed up to his place. However, I know where and when she works. I waited outside of her work, which I know is creepy, but I know she would not want to do this conversation face to face. I asked her if we could talk and she said yes. This was a 1 hour long conversation, so I will summarize it. I told her how much it hurt me that she spiked my drink on purpose and that I could go to the police with this. I said it was childish of her going to our mutual spreading lies about me. I told her that she is a coward for not admitting to what she did. And lastly, I told her I did not have any interest being her friend anymore and I will not be attending her wedding. She was very quiet during the conversation. She listened to everything I had to say. She said she was sorry. She felt like ever since I got sober I was boring because all I talk about is sobriety, which I don't do. That me telling her friends I am sober took the attention away from her. That I shouldn't have done that. I told her before we went that I would tell people that I am sober for health reasons if it were to come up. I told her that she has every right to feel this way, but it doesn't justify what she did to me. I ended the conversation with that I wish her the best, and I hope she gets the help that she needs. And I left. After this I sent the message to her ex. I found out that her fiancé did end the relationship and that this isn't the first time she has done something like this. Turns out that she has several times poured alcohol into her fiancé's drinks, always saying it was an accident, and that she has cheated before. She did bombard me with messages saying how horrible I am, how selfish I am, that I would end my life, blah blah blah. I blocked her and she is out of my life now. I am okay and I had another therapy session today just in case this triggered me.